Well, a very good day to every single one of you. Welcome to 6 Minutes a Day, a journey to your higher self. My name is Justin. You have landed right here on Strength, Yoga, and Freedom, the podcast or the YouTube channel. Day number 28 of our program of 6 Minutes a Day, a journey to your higher self. I'm so excited that you're here. If you are new and are just stumbling onto this training, just know that you're not behind, you haven't missed anything. All of the trainings are available to you to rewatch in a YouTube playlist, or if you're on the podcast version, you can just back up and listen to any episodes that you see fit to do or review or start from. The first half of this program has been dedicated to discovering the self. The second half then talks about getting into the world and dealing with other people. And so this week we have been putting everything together. We have been putting together, starting with you, which was the first training of the week, number 26, day 26. And yesterday we discussed building patterns for success, building blocks for patterns to actually move you into success in your day-to-day life in whatever form that means, that word success, in whatever form that means for you. Because maybe it's just getting yourself just a tiny inch closer to a different habit or routine that you're trying to create in your life to bring you to somewhere where you're experiencing more freedom and happiness in your life. That's why we're here. But I really want to talk about mindfulness in action today. And we had spent a whole week. It was the third week of the training. So that would be around videos and training episodes 11 through 15, where we really dealt with what's going on in the mind about anxiousness, being worried about things, being fearful, all the stuff that creeps up into our mind. And I want to talk today about putting together what we've discussed with starting with you, making these building blocks into healthy patterns, and engaging in mindfulness with all of that. So let's get into that right now. Now, in order to combat anxiety, fear, worrying, all those things that creep into your mind, we have a lot of mindfulness exercises that you can do in your daily routines to help retrain your brain to start moving when you recognize that you're dealing with fear or anxiety or worrying or dread or anything else out there. You feel overwhelmed, you feel sadness, whatever that negative emotion that pops up. We have tools. It just, again, it's not an overnight thing. It takes practice. That's why this training program is not just, well, we're finished and that's it. It takes practice. So the first step, and I've been saying this all along through our training, is you have to become aware of what's happening first. So first, actually acknowledging the fact that you are worrying about something or you're anxious about something is key. You do that sometimes in your morning journaling. You might do that through some other type of mindful practice that you have. And we're going to talk right now about some different mindful practices that you can implement that might help you tap into, oh boy, I am feeling some anxiety, or this is triggering me. So once you've actually acknowledged the fact that you're feeling anxiety, that's step one. And the second step is to understand how often that's happening to you. So you may go through one day and it takes practice to do this. You may say, uh-oh, I'm anxious again, or, oh, this is triggering my anxiety, or this is triggering some fear in me. This is triggering, feeling overwhelmed. Once you start to understand and recognize how often it's happening, it's time to start telling your brain something else so that you can switch the mode of thinking that you get into, which is that anxiety, that fear from the trigger, because your brain wants to default into fight or flight mode. It gets you all worked up. We want to practice telling our brains, hey, look, things are actually okay. All right. And your brain does not know, and I've said this before too, your brain does not know the difference between excitement and anxiousness. Because if you think about it, when you get excited and when you get anxious, your physical feeling in your body is pretty much the same. It's those butterflies, you may get sweaty palms, you may have an increased heart rate, you may feel pressure somewhere. So if you trick your brain into thinking that you're actually excited about something that really might be causing you anxiety, you can actually flip the switch in the brain to take those physical symptoms and use them to your advantage. That's how, at times, moving out of anxiety into another mental state helps you to move forward. And so I have some examples on how you can do that kind of a switch from telling yourself, okay, I'm in a fight or flight mode, but I can switch this into calming everything down. So we know anxiety is a physical response to triggers, to traumas that you've had in the past, that kind of stuff. So how can you actually calm your body down when you notice anxiety is creeping in? Well, the first thing, you may have heard of this part of our body, this anatomy term, the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is actually connected to your vocal cords, and it's the back of your throat, and even into your ears, into your inner ears. And what happens when you activate the vagus nerve is it taps into your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the nervous system that is active when you are in a relaxed state. It is your creative state. It is your calm state. It is not the state where your body begins to get agitated and nervous and worked up because it is preparing for something that potentially could harm you. So when you recognize that when you're thinking about something that could potentially harm you, it creates the anxiety in your body, and that creates that physical response. When you start to move into understanding that your vagus nerve can actually work to your advantage to calm your body down, you actually can trick yourself into settling down, because your brain will think, oh, I am good. Because really, remember what we talked about before, anxiety, worry, fear, those are things that we think about that haven't even happened yet. And so there's some things you can do, like Buddha breathing. Buddha breathing would be to put one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly, taking a big inhale so your entire belly expands, and then exhaling out. Do that maybe 5, 6 big times. Eyes can be closed, eyes can be open. Buddha breathing is monumental when you start to feel anxiety. You can take your neck and take one ear to one shoulder and then go the other direction and go right to left, stimulating all the muscles around the vagus nerve to settle your body. Another nice way to stimulate that vagus nerve is to hum. You may even sing because it's connected into your vocal cord, and that can calm you down. And finally, moving your body, of course, is a big one, right? Exercise is always important, but it doesn't have to be a full-blown workout. You can even go for a small walk or a short jog, maybe a light run. Maybe you're gonna go up and down the stairs, something to move your body. Of course, yoga is always a big one to help with that as well. But move your body. Recognize when you're feeling anxious and start to implement the breathing, the neck movement. You can do the humming. You can move your body. And so what are some other ways that you can add mindfulness to your day-to-day practices so that when you recognize that your body is getting agitated, you can calm yourself down? Number one is meditation. Now, meditation, a lot of us think meditation is just closing your eyes and trying to block everything out. Well, meditation is actually being aware of your surroundings. And in yoga, we have a term that we use called yoga nidra. Now, yoga nidra actually is a practice that's a guided meditation that actually settles your body. And what it does with your body is your body and mind start to get into a place that it feels like you're in between this wakeful state and sleep. So you're in a very calm, you're not quite asleep, but your mind and your body connect, and you become so calm that all of that anxiousness slides away, and you've tapped into the calm, serene part of yourself. That is a big one. We're gonna do some yoga nidra on the YouTube channel. Stay tuned for that. You can also work into listening to some soft and calming music. I have some of that on the YouTube channel as well. If you want to tap into that, check that out. You can also finally do some visualization. And I like visualization because visualization leads to manifestation. And sometimes we think of manifestation as these big, huge dreams and goals that we have, which are wonderful. They are good to have. But when you start visualizing and you try to manifest something that is so big that you forget about all the steps you have to take to get to that big thing, what ends up happening is you tend to give up on that big thing because you're not working and focusing on the little things to get you there. That's where visualization comes into play. That's where you might want to close your eyes and actually unpleasantly visualize sometimes the work that it's going to take to get those big dreams accomplished, because you deserve those big dreams, but you have to sometimes work on the uncomfortable parts of your life and visualize what that's going to feel like so that your body is ready for the real thing when it comes. When you visualize those smaller tasks, suddenly the bigger and bigger and bigger things that you're dreaming of come closer and closer and closer because you're working one step at a time. Mindfulness is so important, my friends. Please take some time for yourself in mindfulness every day. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about being aware of patterns in behavior as we wrap all of that up. Smile a little bit more, laugh a little bit, and when you do, congratulate yourself and be happy. You deserve it. See you tomorrow.